morning, everyone. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Stephanie Cruz. I'm chair of the board of Edawn, and I'd like to welcome you to the announcement of something very exciting this morning. We're going to be introducing a number of our regional partners to launch an initiative that is sure to help create jobs and improve the economy in our community. We Think Local is a campaign that has been adopted by the community leaders you'll hear today. It's a campaign about awareness and truly making an effort to consider local companies in your daily operations as a business and also as an individual. This morning, our speakers will tell you why we've all taken the steps to adopt this initiative and take on a new attitude and the ripple effect that will keep money within the community that we are creating. You'll see on stage that I just signed on my way up to the podium a pledge. We will ask that you all sign this pledge before you leave today. Here's what it says. I agree to think local in every business or financial decision I make and to encourage my employees, family, and friends to do the same. I recognize that to think local is taking just a moment to think, can this be accomplished or provided by someone in our community as opposed to somebody outside our community? That someone may be you, your neighbor, or a friend or a family member. Specifically, when possible, I agree to purchase goods and services from local vendors and suppliers, and when needed, from online companies with a presence in the state of Nevada, purchase from companies that hire local employees. I agree to contract with companies that have a local presence. I agree to hire local talent because our region's talent base is robust and diverse. We've heard that from a number of companies who have relocated here recently, and that's wonderful news. I agree to eat locally produced food when available, support growers, local distributors, and consider dining locally. This also helps cut down on travel and carbon emissions. I agree to support our local nonprofits because they support us. And I agree to serve or otherwise engage and invest in our local community as a citizen and a volunteer. I understand that to think local is a mindset that helps retain wealth and economic vitality in our own community. It benefits our economy, it creates jobs, increases the tax base, and more importantly, it helps each and every one of us, especially in these tough economic times. The financial impact of thinking local can be truly significant to our region. I've signed this pledge, and I thank you all for taking the pledge, which I hope you will, to think local, as well as passing on this attitude to everyone you know. I'm now going to call up the Executive Director of the Northern Nevada Development Authority, Rob Hooper, one of the first to sign this regional Think Local initiatives. Rob?
Thank you for that honor to let me sign that pledge, and I'm thankful for everybody coming out here today to this conference, and my thanks to Edawn for including NNDA to be a part of this initiative. It's one more evidence of the great team that's been put together here between Edawn and NNDA. You may have heard recently, how many months has it been now? Quite a few months ago, we signed an agreement to collaborate and work together. And agreements are fun, they're nice pieces of paper. The good news is we're actually doing it. The two teams are actually working together. Think Local, it's a regional initiative. And I thought about my 3 minutes here that I have, which is hard for me for those of you who know me. This will be quite a feat. So I wrote some things down here. The 3 top reasons, because there's dozens of reasons why this is important for a region to work together and to think local. The first reason I would give you is that the economic ecosystem of Northern Nevada behaves much like any ecosystem and is subject to the laws of ecology. The first law of ecology states, everything is connected to everything else. Or as my old professor would say, it's heliocentric, it's without walls. We're all hooked together. It is important for our Northern Nevada region to understand that what happens in Yerington has an impact on Reno, and what happens in Sparks has an impact on Minden. We are all connected together. Working together to make our region system as successful as possible has a positive impact on all of us equally. So thinking local and thinking of our local region and making that work is a very huge step towards success for the Northern Nevada region. The second reason is that thinking local and buying local is an attitude-based economic approach. It's based in knowledge and strategic reality. It's really very simple math. When you think of how much money flows through our economic system, a dollar is spent with one company, that company goes out and spends it again, that company goes out and spends it again. That works the best the longer we keep that within our region. As soon as that dollar gets shipped out of here, that's where that chain ends. So just from an economic, short and simple math point of view, the more times we can keep that dollar circulating in Northern Nevada region, the more positive impact it will have on our regional economy. To achieve this, we must think local every time and everywhere. The third top reason, in my estimation, is our region is made up of people, families, institutions, businesses, and governments. If we all think local, the synergistic results are very powerful. It allows all of us to come together in a new and meaningful way. It is the full recognition that even though we can't control the cards that we're dealt by the global and national economy, we can control how it impacts our region. Thinking local is a combination of brains, muscle, and resources, all pulling together in a common direction. It's the basis of our Western lifestyle. Together, we can succeed. With that, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, who is one of my favorite leaders in Northern Nevada. She epitomizes the three concepts I just presented. Her tireless leadership on behalf of Northern Nevada is a true inspiration to us all. Please welcome Councilwoman Sharon Zadra.
This is the best signature I've ever had. Rob, thank you. I shouldn't be the one that you were talking about. Thank you very much. This is really, really an exciting day. When I said that that's the best signature I've ever made, it's just the message. And it's something that's been very dear to my heart for a long time, and it has just coincided, coincidentally, or hopefully it's great minds think alike. I think that that's what it's a product of. But I've had the City Council on board for just about a year now. We're going to kick off this year with a major event to coincide around the Christmas holidays. It will be November 3rd, and it will be our opportunity to celebrate local. We're going to just go out aggressively, and we need your help. We're going to go out aggressively to every kind of vendor that there is in our community, and we've just picked the location. It will be at the Auto Museum downtown. We are absolutely prepared to close Center Street and roll it over also into the Sienna, because we want that many vendors. Everything from, you know, the obvious kinds of things that you could buy locally, but the things that maybe you don't think about. You know, rather than giving Grandpa that Patagonia sweater, come down here and get something for him. You know, maybe it's fishing lessons from one of our local providers, or pay for your kids who, you know, you've got kids who have 3 children and they can't really afford their daycare. Pay for their daycare for 3 weeks or 3 months or whatever it is. Buy them 4 months worth of home delivery of model dairy milk. You know, the things that are produced here stay here. Give them services for the spas or nails or toes or whatever it is. Things that you might not think about as giving for gifts, as opposed to the traditional shirt from, you know, one of those box stores. We're going to have everybody out. We're going to have the high schools and grade schools involved, all kinds of contests. So we really need your help to get lots and lots of vendors out there and lots of buyers, our community, to start their Christmas shopping. We'll have a Celebrate Reno on November 3rd. So that's kind of the coincide. And I'll leave it with, we're also starting an activity right over here on Moana, the old Moana Stadium where the pool used to be and died about 4 or 5 years ago. And we used to have baseball played behind those green fences that are just terribly dilapidated, and the ball fields in the back where the kids play Little League are in pretty bad need of help. We're launching the 22-acre full-site demolition that local people will come in a couple weeks, we'll be announcing this, will come and help us demolish that. We will build up that entire structure. SNCA, the Southern Sierra Nevada Aquatics, whatever SNCA stands for, group will be out doing their fundraising. We will be giving them a deed so that they'll have something to actually go to fundraisers, local fundraisers, to build a pool back into that location, but not like what we had before. This will service young, old, recovering veterans. There'll be multiple pools, multiple services. We'll be able to bring tournaments locally. We're going to generate a lot of business for our community, and we're looking forward to sharing this with you. Thank you very much. And I should have looked to see what I'm supposed to do next. Oh, this is great. I can do this. My fellow councilman, because I think regionally, and don't look at borders, is Mr. Lawson from the Sparks City Council, who has also been as much of a local as I've been, native born, and I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thank you, Sharon. Get the signing out of the way first. Thank you. Thanks for everyone to be here. First, I want to thank Edawn and NNDA and all of our local economic leaders for getting this program together. Today, we're here to promote We Think Local campaign. It's really a simple way to create a pathway to create our own destiny out of our economic woes at this time. As we heard earlier, you know, keeping the money locally, it keeps getting spent, and everybody makes money off of it that way. And as a person who I have a career job in the private sector. Excuse me, that was a big Freudian slip. I don't have a career job in the public sector. I have a career job in the private sector, and I have a public service job as a city councilman. I think I understand the relationship between public and private pretty well. So, from a local government perspective, I'd like to call on our state legislators to look at a way to adjust our regulatory statutes so that we as a local government could purchase more locally. We right now have restrictions on us that keep us from doing as much local purchasing as we'd like. And I'd like to even go maybe a little bit further and say, let's give our local businesses a 5% preference. And I'm going to ask you guys to do the same thing. Ask your state legislators to help out the local. I mean, between Reno, Sparks, and Washoe County, we have hundreds of millions of dollars to spend in this area. So it's a great thing for the area. And from the private standpoint, there's a great incentive with thousands of employees that are in the government right now and millions of dollars worth of goods and services. The local government could be creating our own taxes, and that kind of works out well, because then our private sector gets to make some money and we get to have some taxes to do improvements to the city. And I think I've heard this many times in the past, and this is why good ideas like this work. The simple ideas work the best, and that's all this is, just this very simple idea. Think local, buy local, use your local people. It works good. So with all this in mind, please help me get the word out, and We Think Local. Please also help me get the word out to your state legislatures that we need to provide some type of incentive that we can implement locally and give us some more flexibility, and that'll help all Nevadans prosper. So thank you for your attendance, and think local. And now it's my great pleasure to bring up John Burkich, the Assistant County Manager at Washoe County.
It's my pleasure to be here today on behalf of Washoe County. And while I sign this, I have to apologize for the commissioners and Katie Simon. They're stuck in a board meeting as we speak, and so 15 minutes ago I got this assignment. But we're happy to be here and very pleased to sign this on behalf of Washoe County. Just want to thank Edawn and NNDA and all the agencies that have helped launched this initiative. We've been very close to this for quite some time, and I want to just touch briefly on some things we're doing at Washoe County and some things that we plan to be doing to help support these kinds of initiatives. Washoe County certainly supports Buy Local and Think Local initiative to grow the economy. As Ed said, I'll venture into the tax thing. It helps also grow tax revenues, not new taxes, but just tax revenues that goes to supporting the services, the facilities, and the things that government provides to our community. Back all last Tuesday, we had Dave Asher and Nancy was here from Edawn, and I think Maurice was in our board meeting from NNDA, and we had the commission adopt a resolution of support in advance of this event here today and it's entitled Think Local, Choose Local, Live Local. So we're pleased to have already done that, and this was the second time that Dave appeared before our commission. Back almost a year ago, Dave came in and presented this whole concept, and this is something that our regional jobs team has picked up on. I'll talk more about that in just a second here. Back in May of 2010, Commissioner Jung, realizing kind of where our economy was headed, said, you know, we really need to get together at a local level, just like we are here, and do this consistently to focus on the economy and what we can do to grow our economy, grow local jobs. And so she launched what now we call the Regional Jobs Network. And Dave has been a part of that constantly, as many others here in this room. And that whole effort, which now consists of almost 100 different individuals representing agencies and businesses across the region, meet with us monthly to focus on all kinds of ideas. And I want to thank Trey for hosting us for the last 2 years, I believe, Trey, at the Chamber downtown. We are moving to Dave's facility down on Cordon and Vassar. We're going to have call-in capabilities, and unfortunately we couldn't do it at the Chamber, but great support for this effort and great participation. We invite you to the next meeting coming up this Thursday at 10 o'clock at Dave's shop at Vassar and Cordon. Did I say all that right, Dave? Okay. So a lot of focus from the county on helping grow the economy and expand the job market here in our region. We have committed to continuing our local buying. Washoe County buys approximately $75 million in goods and services in the region. And we're redoubling our effort under the direction of the commission, back to what's already been said. How can we keep $75 million in our local economy to grow our jobs? And I want to quote some numbers that Dave taught us. And I'll get this right, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong. Buying local works to create jobs and increase economic vitality, noting a 10% shift by local residents in spending with local businesses in Washoe County will create 2,500 jobs. 10% shift, 2,500 jobs with an impact of $350 million annually to our local economy. So the multiplier effect is huge, the opportunity is great, and the steps are simple. Just think about where we're going to make our next purchase. So thank you for having us. Thanks for including Washoe County, and we're all behind this. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John, for that fine introduction. I'm Len Stevens with the Chamber, and just would like you all to know that we're now, with the merger of the chambers, representing 2,500 businesses in our community. And if you're talking about local, that's local. And I can tell you this, that we have some programs in place right now that we think will really connect our retail community with our businesses, and that's the most important thing. Things that we can do on our website as related to local businesses providing business, not only business opportunities, but business deals. You know, what we're looking at is really a coupon type program that would connect us with not only with our local businesses, but with also the people who live in this community, to entice them to stay and spend their money in this community. It's very, very important to all of us, as we know that. About 5 years ago, we had a campaign that was buy local, that every store had in their window, and I'm so happy that Edawn is taking up the charge again, and that we can partner with Edawn and NNDA and with the Green Chamber and the community, all the community efforts. This is what has to be done. We all have to come together to make this happen. I know in the chamber ourselves, we have a policy that we don't do business with anybody that's not a chamber member. That's a local business. And we have to do those kinds of things. I think it's very important. In fact, I changed my dentist the other day because he wasn't in the chamber and he's not giving back into the community way. These are things that you have to do that are very, very important to all of us. And it's not just about developing new jobs here that are already, with businesses that are already here, but showing this camaraderie, bringing people together, also attract businesses to come here and to do business here, to open up offices here, all these kinds of things, showing that kind of closeness and togetherness. That's what attracts businesses. When they're looking for a place to go and they see a community that really supports itself by supporting one another, that's what is a major attraction. I think that's very, very big, and I think Edawn NNDA has done an amazing job already of the ones they're bringing in, but growing those jobs, as John alluded to, with what we're doing now, that's very, very important to all of us. I know we got Kimmy Candy there, and I remember when they came in and they were just a small little group, and now they're all over the place. That's just one example of what's happening. And the only reason that's happening is because the community has taken up the charge to really be involved locally in what we're doing. So I know the Chamber's going to do their part. All of us have a responsibility to think, number one and first, when I'm purchasing something, what am I getting? Where am I going? Can I do it right here and help the economy and help all, our people who live here have jobs and improve what we're already doing? So this is a great program. Mike, you and your staff and NNDA, this is awesome, and we look forward to working with all of you. Thank you very much. You didn't tell me I had to introduce anyone. Did you? Who?
Dave Ashley.
Hi, Dave. The Green Chamber and Dave Asher. Come on up, Dave.
Hey, Lynn, don't forget to sign it.
I'm going to sign right now.
Got it. I'll break in the lower part here. Wow, thank you. I'm in a room full of heavy hitters, and it's just an honor to be here. You know, economist after economist reminds us the number one way to grow our economy and create jobs is supporting locally owned independent businesses. Well, who the heck is locally owned? I figured that out about 3 years ago. We have a challenge with that, to identify which businesses are locally owned independent businesses. So I started building a directory online at buylocalrenosparks.com, identifying our locally owned independent businesses. I have almost 2,500 listings in that directory at buylocalrenosparks.com. So we have a three-pronged economic development process at the Reno Sparks Local Business Co-op, driving consumers to local businesses to increase sales and revenues and hopefully hire people. The Local Business Co-op is a cooperative of local businesses, and I ask local businesses to make sure you're doing business with other local businesses every chance you get. Move your money to the local bank. Get your office supplies from the local office people, especially those who donate back to the community. Get your car serviced at the local fleet maintenance. Everything you can do to support local. Move your money. Keep your expenses in the community. There's an item called the local economic multiplier that has been mentioned a couple times here. What that says is the profits are reinvested back in the local economy 2 to 4 times. So if the state is contracting out with an outside marketing agency and they're sending them $500,000, that's $2 million that could have circulated in our local economy. We need to keep that money here locally. The third prong of this is making sure that the government procures locally whenever possible. I agree, we do need to change that legislation, and I'm for a little harder hit. I have examples of successful legislations from across the country where they have favored local businesses under $100,000 at 15%, under $200,000 at 10%, and over $200,000 is 5%. Now that's heavy hitting, but that's taking care of our local economy. And what that means is that money stays here. Yes, it costs a little bit more to support a local business, but our economy is like a bucket. And every time we write a check to somewhere out of state, that bucket has a leak, and it's leaking. We're putting tax money in the top, and it's leaking out the bottom. We need to plug these leaks, keep the money circulating here in our local economy. It's very exciting. Buy local equals jobs. It's very important. So the answer to this whole think local process is top of mind awareness, and thank goodness for Edawn to come in with the power that they have, partnering with NNDA to bring this message to our community. It's just educating the consumers. I believe in the intelligence of my neighbors here in Northern Nevada. When you have that dollar in your hand, that check, that credit card, ask yourself, are you spending this at a locally owned independent business? If you can't find what you're looking for, go to the local franchises, go to the local chain stores before you shop online out of state. Shopping online out of state is the enemy to our economy. No local jobs, no local taxes. No taxes, no schools, no parks, no roads, no libraries, no police, no fire. Shopping online out of state is growing, and we need to keep that money here locally. Yes, you might save $1.50, but your neighbor just lost his job and his house is in foreclosure. What did that do to your net worth? What did that do to the whole community? So as we go into launching this Think Local, it's just a mindset, a top of mind awareness to keep remembering to support local businesses. Choose local independent first. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again. I support all local businesses. Choose local owned independent businesses first because their profits stay here. Their profits are going to circulate that 4 times. So I very much appreciate the fact that we've got everybody in the room agreeing to this, and it's just so huge what Edawn has taken this up and is running with it, and I'm just so blessed to be part of it, and I thank you everybody, and I know we can turn this economy around together and make this a vibrant, sustainable, loving community that we all know can be here in Northern Nevada. So thank you very much. And you know, being a local guy, I'm a 3rd generation Reno, and I'm really for one of these, you know, hire from within. And so, you know, we promote that whenever possible. But I congratulate Edawn, and I stand corrected, because when you went looking for a new leader, you found one that has the knowledge that we need in Northern Nevada. You found one that has the skills that we need in Northern Nevada. You found that team player that we need here in Northern Nevada, and he's the captain of this team. I'd like to welcome Michael Kazmersky up, and welcome to Reno. Thank you, Michael.
I type like that too, by the way. Well, Dave, thank you. First of all, thank you all for being here today. What this represents is a community that's ready to do a little bit more to help our economy grow. And what it takes is individual commitment, individual decisions, individual involvement. And that's really what Think Local is about. And you know, you heard some fantastic speakers give their view on Think Local, and they're not all the same. And that's why Think Local is such a great way to do this, because everyone has a little different twist on it. But at the end of that twist, the thought is, how do we help our neighbors and friends in some way financially when we make our decisions? And Dave has got some great ideas and a huge passion and has been working on this for many, many years. So I thank you, Dave, for that. But we also have many other partners, many that are not speaking today, that have really embraced the buy local, think local, work local. Many of you have had that attitude personally or as an organization or a business. And I thank you for that, because the jobs you've saved and the jobs you created are here because of that attitude, because of that initiative. And all we're trying to do now is broaden it a little bit, because this community is ready to do that. And it's pretty exciting as I go around and talk to people to get a sense for that real, okay, what can we do to help? And here's part of the answer. We can think a little bit more local in what we do. And that's really the simple little things that make a difference. And we got 6 things we put on the resolution. And if you memorize them, you're pretty good. If you didn't, there'll be a test before you leave. And oh, by the way, you have to sign the resolution in order to get one of these. And it's really the 6 things, as Stephanie mentioned, are just our broad definition of it. But you have your own definitions, and you'll decide what you need to do to make it work better. And the purchase, contract, hire are all kind of, you know, you have your different interpretation of that. Whenever possible, do those things. Eat. I mean, we all like to eat. There's a way we can do that. But the last 2 are really there as a touchy-feely, because giving to the community in more than just your checkbook makes a difference as well. Giving to your local nonprofits, they're gonna do whatever they can whenever you need them. So help them because they need you, and then serve this community. And serving can be as simple as, you know, being on, you know, working with Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. Serve in some way, giving to our community, because that's what makes this community so great. So I ask you to think local in all you do. Again, the agencies that have signed resolutions, and it's, you know, the people that talked today represented probably a huge chunk of this economy in this region. When you talk about the government side, certainly on NNDA side, fantastic initial push, but it's going to take a whole lot more to get us to that next level, and that's where you all can help. I would offer that we mentioned the state, but we also have a utility company here, NV Energy. Local is defined by your, basically your service boundary. So for NV Energy, we would ask you to think local from a state perspective. So each one of you has a different kind of little view of this and a little different kind of definition, and it really will make a difference in this economy. I would ask you at the very end of the day to remember that the person, the job you save, or the opportunity you help grow may be your own, because as the neighbor or friend does that for you, we help each other. And that's really what it's all about. So again, thank you for coming today. If you haven't signed a resolution and got a decal, we'd ask you to do that. You're certainly welcome to mingle and think local. Thanks.